Deep in an isolated forest, under the cover of midnight, a man named Kailash approaches a massive banyan tree. Without hesitation, he takes a crude blade and slices his own palm, letting his blood soak directly into the gnarled roots. As the blood flows, he begins a precise, ancient chant. These aren't just random words. It's a specific, forbidden mantra meant to summon a Shakchunni, a spirit that has haunted the local imagination for generations. The air shifts. The metallic chime of anklets rings out through the stillness of the leaves, and a spectral figure begins to materialize from the darkness of the tree. The ritual is working. This leaves us with a question. Why would a man willingly bleed himself to unleash a force the rest of the world spends its life hiding from? And what kind of threat could be so great that a demon is the only solution? Months earlier, Kailash was a different man, a woodcutter who laughed at the local superstitions. He ignored every warning the village sarpanch gave him about the Kali Bahari, the Black Hill, treating the stories of cursed ground as nothing more than campfire tales. That skepticism held up until the afternoon he slips on a steep, rocky incline. He tumbles into a ravine, his leg badly gashed and bleeding out while he's miles from any help. He expected to die alone in the brush, but when he finally wakes up, the bleeding has stopped. His wounds aren't festering, they've been carefully cleaned and covered in a paste of medicinal herbs. His savior is Sanvari. She admits she is the Shakchunni the villagers whisper about, but she doesn't want his soul. She wants a life with him. She begins visiting his home in secret, quietly finishing his chores and leaving warm meals on the table before he even returns from the woods. In the village, the name Shakchunni is synonymous with a death sentence. For Kailash, it has come to mean a clean hearth, a healed wound, and a protective presence. While Kailash and Sanvari live in secret, a very real terror enters the village. People begin to disappear in the night, their bodies later found in the streets, brutally torn apart by something with an insatiable hunger. One evening, a horrific scream pierces the air near Kailash's home. He and Sanvari rush into the dark alleys to find the source of the noise. They find a rocked Shakchunni, a blood witch, crouched over a fallen villager. This is a creature of pure predatory instinct, driven only by the need to consume human flesh. Sanvari immediately moves to protect the village. To match the Shakchunni's raw power, she sheds her human appearance. Her form expands and contorts, shifting into a hulking demonic shape that can stand its ground against the witch. The village's safety now depends entirely on one monster being strong enough to kill another. But the timing is disastrous. Just as the Shakchunni flees into the shadows, the village sarpanch and a tantric arrive with a mob. All they see is Sanvari in her most terrifying form, standing over a fresh corpse. Kailash tries to shout the truth, but no one is listening. The logic of the mob is instant. They see a demon from their legends, they see a dead neighbor, and they decide they have found their murderer. The crowd turns on Kailash for standing with her. They beat him until he's unconscious and drag his body to the edge of the woods, leaving him for dead among the trees. Under the tantric's direction, the villagers work to seal Sanvari away. They use ancient mantras to bind her spirit deep within the banyan tree, wrapping the trunk in magical script that acts as permanent iron chains. The villagers walk away, convinced they've ended the killings. They have no idea they've just locked up the only creature capable of fighting what is still lurking in the dark. The peace doesn't last. With Sanvari out of the way, the rucked Shakchunni returns and hunts without opposition. The tantric is killed instantly, his magic useless against the witch's speed, leaving the sarpanch to cower alone in the bushes. By morning, the sarpanch finds Kailash alive in the woods. Driven by the sight of his dead neighbors, he begs Kailash to return to the banyan tree and break the seal they just placed. The tantric seal was designed to be absolute. There are specific mechanical requirements to undo the binding and release the spirit. It requires a man's blood offered to the roots, followed by chanting the Shakchunni's name exactly 3 times. It is the only way the tree opens. Survival for the village now requires someone to pay a physical price in blood to undo a mistake born of panic. When Sanvari is finally freed, her first instinct is fury. She owes the village nothing, and she watches with cold indifference as the Sarpanch faces the consequences of the trap he helped build. But Kailash is there. It's her bond with him that shifts her focus. Just as the Shakchunni lunges to finish off the Sarpanch, Sanvari steps in, intercepting the attack with a violent burst of energy. The struggle is over in seconds. Sanvari moves with a predator's speed, driving razor-sharp claws through the Shakchunni, ending the village's threat forever. With the witch dead, Kailash and Sanvari don't wait for a thank you. They leave the village behind for good, choosing the silence of the deep forest over a community that nearly killed them both. The survivors are left with a quiet village and a hard lesson. They realize too late that the monster they were so eager to chain was the only reason any of them were still alive. They learned that a creature's nature is revealed by what it does when things are at their worst, and not the name people call it.